The little girl sat frozen in her chair, staring at the untouched pasta on her plate. Around her, the restaurant buzzed with laughter and conversation, crystal glasses clinking, silverware scraping against fine china. But Sofia Castellano existed in silence, a 5-year-old island in a sea of noise. Her father, Lorenzo, watched her with eyes that held 3 years of accumulated grief. He'd brought her to Bellissimo, one of the city's finest Italian restaurants, hoping the familiar taste of his grandmother's recipes might spark anything in his daughter. But Sofia simply sat there, her small hands folded in her lap, her dark eyes empty. Lorenzo had tried everything. Therapists, child psychologists, play therapy, art therapy, even a brief stay at a specialized grief center for children. Nothing worked. Sofia had stopped smiling the day her mother died. She spoke only when absolutely necessary, usually just a word or two. She ate enough to survive but found no joy in food. She attended kindergarten but made no friends. She was a ghost of the vibrant, giggling child she'd once been, and Lorenzo felt helpless to bring her back. "Sofia, sweetheart, would you like to try the breadsticks?" Lorenzo asked gently, pushing the basket closer to her. "They're warm, just how you used to like them." Sofia glanced at the bread, then back at her plate. No response. Lorenzo felt the familiar ache in his chest, the one that never quite went away. He was a billionaire, the CEO of Castellano Industries, a man who commanded boardrooms and closed deals worth millions. But he couldn't fix his own daughter. Money, power, influence, none of it mattered when the person you loved most wouldn't even look at you with recognition. He'd built an empire, but he was losing the only thing that truly mattered. "Mr. Castellano?" A soft voice interrupted his thoughts. "Is everything all right with your meal?" Lorenzo looked up to see their waitress standing beside the table. He'd barely noticed her before, too focused on Sofia. But now he saw her clearly. She was young, maybe mid-20s, with warm brown skin and kind eyes that seemed to actually see them, not just look at them. Her name tag read Mia. She wore the restaurant's standard uniform, a crisp white blouse and black slacks, but something about her presence felt different from the other staff. Genuine. Real. "The food is excellent," Lorenzo said, forcing a polite smile. "My daughter is just not very hungry tonight." Mia's eyes moved to Sofia, and Lorenzo saw something shift in her expression. Not pity, which he'd grown to hate. Understanding, maybe. Or recognition of some kind. "Hi there," Mia said, crouching down beside Sofia's chair so they were at eye level. "My name is Mia. What's yours?" Sofia didn't respond, didn't even look at her. Most people would have given up right there. They'd smile awkwardly, stand back up, and retreat. But Mia stayed where she was, her voice gentle and patient. "You know what? When I was your age, I didn't like fancy restaurants much either. Too many forks, right? I could never remember which one to use." Still nothing from Sofia, but Lorenzo noticed his daughter's eyes had flickered, just slightly, toward Mia's face. "But I'll tell you a secret," Mia continued, her voice dropping to a whisper. "The kitchen has the best chocolate cake you've ever tasted. It's not on the menu, but if you're really good, sometimes they make it special. Would you like me to ask the chef if he'd make one for you?" For the first time in 3 years, Sofia's lips moved. Not quite a smile, but almost. Her eyes, those empty eyes, showed a spark of something. Interest. Curiosity. Life. Lorenzo's breath caught in his throat. He leaned forward, afraid to move too much, afraid to break whatever spell Mia had cast. "Can I tell you another secret?" Mia asked, and this time Sofia gave the smallest nod. The movement was barely visible, but it was there. "I'm studying to be a teacher. That means I spend a lot of time with kids your age. And you know what I've learned? Sometimes the bravest thing you can do is just be yourself, even when everything feels hard." Sofia's small hand moved, reaching out slowly, tentatively, until her fingers touched Mia's hand where it rested on the edge of the chair. It was the first time Sofia had voluntarily touched another person since her mother's funeral. Lorenzo felt tears prick his eyes. He blinked them back, not wanting to disturb this moment. This impossible, beautiful moment. Mia didn't pull away or make a big deal of Sofia's touch. She just smiled, warm and accepting, and let Sofia's little hand rest against hers. "You have beautiful eyes," Mia said softly. "They remind me of the night sky." "My mama used to say that," Sofia whispered. Her voice was small, rusty from disuse, but it was there. Words. Actual words, forming a complete sentence. "She sounds like she was very smart," Mia replied. "And very loving. She died." Sofia's words were matter-of-fact, but her hand tightened slightly on Mia's. "I'm so sorry," Mia said, and Lorenzo could hear the genuine sympathy in her voice. Not the practiced, uncomfortable sympathy most people offered. Real grief, as if she understood loss herself. That must hurt very much. Sophia nodded, and then in a moment that stopped Lorenzo's heart, a single tear rolled down his daughter's cheek. It was the first time she'd cried since the funeral. For 3 years she'd been locked in a prison of frozen grief, unable to express the pain she felt. And now, with this stranger, this waitress named Mia, the ice was finally cracking. "It's okay to be sad," Mia said gently. "It's okay to miss her. And it's okay to talk about her too. Do you want to tell me about your mama?" Sophia looked at her father for the first time that evening, really looked at him. Lorenzo nodded, encouraging her, his own eyes wet with unshed tears. Sophia turned back to Mia. "She had long black hair," Sophia said slowly. "And she smelled like flowers. She used to sing to me at bedtime. Italian songs like my papa's Nana taught her." "That sounds beautiful," Mia said. "I can't remember her voice anymore." Sophia's words broke Lorenzo's heart all over again. "I try but I can't hear it." "Maybe your papa can help you remember," Mia suggested, glancing up at Lorenzo. "He knew her too. He can tell you stories about her, help you keep her voice alive in different ways." Lorenzo cleared his throat, struggling to speak past the emotion clogging it. "I'd like that very much, sweetheart. We can talk about Mama whenever you want. I miss her too." It was the first time he'd said those words out loud to Sophia. He'd been so focused on being strong for her, on trying to fix her grief, that he'd never shared his own. Maybe that was part of the problem. Maybe Sophia had felt alone in her sadness. "Can Mia stay?" Sophia asked suddenly, looking at her father with those dark, pleading eyes. "Please, Papa? Can she sit with us?" Lorenzo looked at Mia, who seemed surprised by the request. "I'm working," Mia said gently to Sophia. "I have other tables to take care of. But I'll come back and check on you, okay? I promise." "No." Sophia's voice rose, taking on an edge of panic. Her hand gripped Mia's tighter. "Don't go. Please don't go." "Sophia, Mia has to work," Lorenzo said, though everything in him wanted to beg this woman to stay too. "But we'll see her again. We can come back to this restaurant." "No." Sophia shook her head and more tears fell. "Everyone goes away. Everyone leaves. Don't leave." Mia looked at Lorenzo, and he saw his own desperation reflected in her eyes. "I won't go far," Mia promised Sophia. "I'll be right over there, see?" She pointed to the Waitress station. "You can see me the whole time. And I'll come back in a few minutes. I promise." "Promise?" Sophia's voice was small, frightened. "I promise," Mia repeated. "Have I broken a promise to you yet?" Sophia thought about this, then shook her head. "Then trust me, okay? I'll be back. And maybe by then that chocolate cake will be ready." Slowly, reluctantly, Sophia released Mia's hand. Mia stood up, gave her one more reassuring smile and walked away. But true to her word, she stayed where Sophia could see her, glancing over every few minutes and waving when Sophia looked her way. Lorenzo watched his daughter watch Mia. Something had shifted tonight, something fundamental. For the first time in 3 years, Sophia had connected with another person. She'd talked about her mother. She'd cried. She'd felt something other than numbness. When Mia returned 15 minutes later with a slice of chocolate cake, Sophia actually smiled. It was tiny, barely there, but it was real. Lorenzo had to excuse himself to the restroom because he couldn't hold back his tears any longer. By the time they finished dinner, Sophia had eaten 3 bites of cake and spoken 12 sentences, more words than she'd strung together in months. And when it was time to leave, Sophia refused to go. "I want to stay with Mia," she said, clinging to Lorenzo's hand while staring at their waitress with desperate hope. "Sweetheart, we can't stay. The restaurant is closing," Lorenzo explained. "Then Mia should come with us," Sophia stated, as if it were the most obvious solution in the world. Lorenzo looked at Mia helplessly. "I'm so sorry. She's not usually like this. Tonight has been very unusual." Mia knelt down one more time. "Sophia, I have to finish my work here. But I'll tell you what. If your papa says it's okay, maybe I can see you again sometime. Would you like that?" Sophia nodded vigorously. "Then I'll give your papa my phone number and he can call me." "Okay. You promise?" Sophia asked. "You promise you'll come see me?" Mia hesitated, and Lorenzo could see the conflict on her face. She was a waitress, a college student. She didn't owe them anything. This wasn't her responsibility. But when she looked at Sophia's face, so full of hope, so alive for the first time in years, she couldn't say no. "I promise," Mia said. She scribbled her number on a napkin and handed it to Lorenzo. Their fingers brushed, and Lorenzo felt something he hadn't felt since his wife died. A spark. A possibility. "Oh, thank you," he said quietly. "You have no idea what you've done for us tonight." Mia smiled. "Maybe I do. Take care of each other, okay?" As Lorenzo led Sofia out of the restaurant, his daughter turned back 3 times to wave at Mia. And each time, Mia waved back, standing in the bright light of the restaurant entrance until they were out of sight. In the car, Sofia spoke without prompting. "Papa, can we see Mia tomorrow?" "Maybe not tomorrow, sweetheart. But soon." "She's nice," Sofia said. "She didn't look at me like I'm broken." Lorenzo's heart clenched. "You're not broken, Sofia. You're healing. And maybe Mia is going to help us heal." That night, for the first time since her mother died, Sofia asked Lorenzo to tuck her in and tell her a story about her mama. And for the first time in 3 years, Lorenzo sang his daughter an Italian lullaby, his voice rough with emotion but filled with love. As Sofia drifted off to sleep with a peaceful expression on her face, Lorenzo sat in the chair beside her bed and looked at the napkin with Mia's phone number. He knew what he had to do. It was crazy, inappropriate, possibly the worst business decision he'd ever make. But when it came to his daughter's happiness, he'd do anything. He'd offer anything. Tomorrow he would call Mia Johnson and make her an offer she couldn't refuse. Because tonight, a waitress had done what dozens of professionals couldn't. She'd reached his daughter. She'd brought her back to life. And Lorenzo Castellano wasn't about to let that miracle slip away. Have you ever met someone who changed everything in a single moment? Someone whose kindness made you believe in second chances? If this story touched your heart, please subscribe and share your thoughts in the comments. Have you ever witnessed a small act of kindness create a huge impact? Let us know below. Mia Johnson stared at her phone in disbelief. She'd been studying for her early childhood development exam when it rang, displaying a number she didn't recognize. Normally, she'd let unknown calls go to voicemail, but something made her answer. "Hello? Miss Johnson? This is Lorenzo Castellano. From the restaurant last night. Sofia's father." Mia's heart skipped. She'd thought about Sofia all night, worried about the little girl with the sad eyes. She'd even dreamed about her. "Yes, I remember. Is Sofia okay?" "She's more than okay. She's talking. Actually talking in full sentences. She asked about you 5 times this morning. She ate breakfast without me having to beg her. Miss Johnson, you've done something remarkable." Mia felt a flush of pleasure at his words, but also confusion. "I'm glad she's doing better, but I really didn't do anything special. I just talked to her." "You did more than that." Lorenzo's voice was warm, rich with emotion. "You saw her. Really saw her. And she responded to you in a way she hasn't responded to anyone since her mother passed." "She's a special little girl," Mia said softly. "I could tell." There was a pause. Mia heard Lorenzo take a breath as if gathering courage. "Miss Johnson, I know this is going to sound strange. Probably inappropriate. But I have a proposition for you." "A proposition?" Mia's guard went up slightly. "Please just hear me out. I've spent 3 years watching my daughter fade away. I've hired the best therapists money can buy. I've taken her to specialists across the country. Nothing has worked. But last night in 15 minutes you reached her. You made her feel safe enough to cry, to talk, to hope. Mr. Castellano, I'm not a therapist. I'm just a college student who works part-time at a restaurant." "Exactly. You're real. You're kind. You're studying to work with children, which means you have training and understanding. And Sofia trusts you." Lorenzo's words came faster now, urgent. "I want to hire you to spend time with Sofia. A few hours a week at first. Whatever your schedule allows. I'll pay you whatever you need. Just please don't let that connection you made with her fade away." Mia's mind raced. This was crazy. Rich men didn't just call up waitresses and offer them money to spend time with their kids. "Mr. Castellano, I don't think that's appropriate. I'm not qualified to help Sofia with her grief. I'm not asking you to be her therapist. I'm asking you to be her friend. To be the person who makes her smile. I've watched my daughter suffer for 3 years, Miss Johnson. I'd do anything to help her heal. Anything. And right now, you're the only person who's been able to reach her." Mia paced her small apartment, thinking. She needed money desperately. Her student loans were crushing her. She was 2 months behind on rent. She'd been living on instant noodles and hope. But this felt wrong somehow, like taking advantage of a desperate father. "How much are you offering?" she asked, hating herself for even asking but needing to know. $5,000 a week. Mia stopped walking. "I'm sorry, what?" $5,000 a week for spending time with Sofia. More if you need it. and I'll pay your college tuition. All of it. Every semester until you graduate. Mia's legs gave out. She sat down hard on her second-hand couch. That was more money than she'd see in 6 months of waitressing. That was her entire college debt erased. That was security, stability, a future. Mr. Castellano, that's too much. Way too much. It's not enough, Lorenzo said firmly. My daughter's happiness is priceless. Her healing is priceless. If money can help her, then I'll spend whatever it takes. Please, Miss Johnson. I'm not asking you to fix her or cure her. I'm just asking you to spend time with her. Talk to her. Be the kind person you were last night. Let her trust you. Let her heal at her own pace with someone she feels safe with. Mia's practical side warred with her ethical concerns. She could finish her degree without drowning in debt. She could afford actual groceries. She could help her grandmother with her medical bills. But was it right to accept so much money just for being kind to a little girl? Can I think about it? Mia asked. Of course. Take all the time you need. But Miss Johnson, Sophia made me promise to call you. She's asking when she can see you again. Whatever you decide, could you at least come by once? Just to say hello? I'll pay you for your time either way. Mia closed her eyes. She thought of Sophia's small hand touching hers. The trust in those dark eyes. The first tear that had finally fallen. Where do you live? Lorenzo gave her an address in the most expensive part of the city. Of course he did. Mia didn't even know anyone who'd been to that neighborhood, let alone lived there. I can come by tomorrow afternoon, Mia heard herself say. Just for an hour or two. No commitment beyond that. Thank you. Lorenzo's relief was audible. Thank you so much. Come at 2 o'clock? I'll have my driver pick you up. I can take the bus. Please let me send a car. It's the least I can do. Mia gave him her address and hung up, immediately wondering if she'd made a huge mistake. She called her roommate, Kenji, who was in his final year of engineering. A billionaire wants to pay you $5,000 a week to hang out with his kid? Kenji said incredulously. And you're hesitating, why? Because it feels weird. Like I'm taking advantage of a desperate father. Mia, he approached you. He's offering this freely. And from what you told me, this little girl really needs help. You could actually make a difference in her life while also getting out of debt. That's not taking advantage. That's a miracle. But what if I can't help her? What if last night was just a fluke? Then you tried. Look, you've been killing yourself working 2 jobs while going to school full-time. You barely sleep. You barely eat. This could change your life. And maybe you'll change theirs too. Isn't that worth trying? Mia knew Kenji was right. She'd been so focused on being ethical that she hadn't considered the practical reality. She was barely surviving. This opportunity could save her. And maybe, just maybe, she could help Sophia. The next day, a sleek black car pulled up outside her building at exactly 1:30. The driver, a professional man in his 50s, greeted her politely and opened the door. Mia slid into leather seats that probably cost more than her entire car had back when she'd had a car. The drive to Lorenzo's building took 20 minutes. They pulled up to a high-rise that gleamed in the afternoon sun, all glass and steel and money. A doorman opened her car door. Another held open the building entrance. Mia felt completely out of place in her simple blue dress and worn flats. The elevator ride to the penthouse felt like ascending to another world. When the doors opened, they revealed an apartment that wasn't an apartment at all. It was a home in the sky, sprawling and beautiful, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the entire city. Lorenzo stood waiting, and Mia saw him clearly for the first time in good light. He was younger than she'd expected, maybe mid-30s, with dark hair and darker eyes. Handsome in that carved, serious way of men who carried too much weight on their shoulders. He wore jeans and a blue sweater, casual for a billionaire, and his smile when he saw her was genuine. Miss Johnson, thank you for coming. He extended his hand and she shook it, noting the strength and warmth of his grip. Please call me Mia. Then call me Lorenzo. Sophia is in her room. She's been watching the elevator for the past hour. His voice held affection and exasperation. She made me promise you were really coming. I keep my promises, Mia said, and Lorenzo's expression softened. I'm beginning to see that. He led her through the penthouse, past art that probably belonged in museums and furniture that belonged in magazines. But Mia's attention was caught by the photos on the walls. Pictures of Sophia as a baby, chubby and laughing. Sophia as a toddler, covered in paint and grinning. Sophia with a beautiful woman who must have been her mother, both of them caught mid-laugh in golden sunlight. Isabella, Lorenzo said, noticing where Mia was looking. My wife. She was incredible. Sophia's her mirror image. I'm sorry for your loss, Mia said softly. Thank you. It's been 3 years, but some days it feels like yesterday. Other days it feels like a lifetime ago. He paused outside a door painted with clouds and stars. Sophia's room. Ready? Mia nodded, suddenly nervous. What if Sophia didn't respond to her today? What if the magic was gone? Lorenzo knocked softly. Sophia? Someone's here to see you. The door flew open. Sophia stood there in red overalls and a white shirt, her dark hair pulled back in pigtails. When she saw Mia, her entire face lit up in a way that made Mia's heart squeeze. You came, Sophia breathed. You really came. I promised, didn't I? Mia knelt down to Sophia's level. I keep my promises. Sophia launched herself forward, wrapping small arms around Mia's neck in a hug that spoke of desperate need and fragile trust. Mia caught her, holding her gently, and looked up to see tears streaming down Lorenzo's face. He mouthed 2 words, thank you. Mia spent the next 2 hours in Sophia's room, a space that was part princess castle, part art studio. They read books together, 3 of them. They drew pictures, Sophia explaining each crayon choice with seriousness. They played with stuffed animals, creating elaborate stories about a brave rabbit and a kind elephant. Sophia talked more in those 2 hours than she probably had in 2 months. She talked about her kindergarten class, about how she didn't really have friends but there was a girl named Priya who shared her crayons sometimes. She talked about missing her mother, about how sometimes she forgot what her mother's hugs felt like. She talked about her papa, about how he was sad a lot but tried to hide it. Papa thinks I don't notice, Sophia said, arranging stuffed animals in a circle. But I do. He's lonely. Everyone feels lonely sometimes, Mia said gently. Even grown-ups. Are you lonely? Sophia asked with the directness only children possess. Mia considered lying, then decided on truth. Sometimes. I miss my family. They live far away. And I work a lot, so I don't have many friends here. Then you and Papa are both lonely, Sophia stated. Maybe you can be friends. Then you won't be lonely anymore. Mia smiled at the simple logic. Maybe. When 3:30 came, Mia reluctantly said she needed to go. Sophia's face fell. Already? I have to study for an exam. But I can come back. If you'd like me to. Yes. Sophia grabbed Mia's hands. Please come back. Please. Lorenzo appeared in the doorway. Sophia, remember what we talked about. Mia has her own life. We can't demand all her time. But I want her to come back, Sophia said, looking between them with pleading eyes. Mia made a decision. Maybe it was reckless. Maybe it was crazy. But looking at Sophia's hopeful face and Lorenzo's desperate eyes, she couldn't walk away. Mr. Castellano, I've thought about your offer. Lorenzo, he corrected automatically. Lorenzo, I'll accept. I'll spend time with Sophia. But not for $5,000 a week. That's too much. Name your price, Lorenzo said immediately. Pay my tuition and give me $2,000 a week. That's more than fair. And I need a schedule that works around my classes and my shifts at the restaurant. Quit the restaurant, Lorenzo said. I'll pay you what you'd make there and more. You shouldn't have to work yourself to exhaustion while going to school. I need to keep some part of my normal life, Mia insisted. I'll quit one job but not both. I can work weekends at the restaurant and spend weekday afternoons with Sophia. Does that work? Whatever you want. Whatever works for you. Lorenzo extended his hand again. Do we have a deal? Mia looked at Sophia, who was watching her with such hope it hurt. She looked at Lorenzo, whose desperation was masked by careful courtesy. She thought about her empty bank account and her mounting debts. She thought about the promise she'd made to herself to make a difference in children's lives. She shook Lorenzo's hand. We have a deal. Sophia cheered, actually cheered, jumping up and down with excitement. Lorenzo's smile was the first genuinely happy expression Mia had seen from him. Over the next hour they worked out details. Mia would come Monday through Friday, 2 to 6 in the afternoon. Lorenzo's assistant would draw up a formal contract. They'd start immediately. As Mia left, Sophia hugged her goodbye, and Lorenzo walked her to the elevator. I can't thank you enough, he said quietly. You're giving us hope. That's priceless. I just hope I can help, Mia said honestly. Sophia deserves to be happy. She does. And thanks to you, I think she might be again. On the drive home, Mia looked out at the city and wondered what she'd gotten herself into. She was now officially employed by a billionaire to spend time with his daughter. It was surreal. It was crazy. It was potentially life-changing. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. This is Lorenzo. Thank you again. Sophia hasn't stopped smiling since you left. You're already making a difference. Mia smiled and tucked her phone away. Maybe Kenji was right. Maybe this was a miracle. And maybe, just maybe, she could help this broken family heal. She just had to keep reminding herself that this was a job. Just a job. Nothing more. No matter how kind Lorenzo's eyes were or how desperately Sophia needed love or how much Mia's heart already ached for both of them. Just a job, she told herself firmly. That's all it could ever be. 3 weeks into their new arrangement, Mia had fallen into a comfortable rhythm with Sophia. Every weekday afternoon the car arrived at her campus, drove her to the penthouse, and delivered her to a little girl who waited by the window watching for her arrival. Today was a Tuesday, bright and warm, perfect park weather. Mia had suggested an outing, and Sophia had agreed enthusiastically. Lorenzo had been hesitant at first, protective of his daughter's privacy and safety, but Mia had convinced him that Sophia needed normalcy. She needed to be a regular kid, not a princess locked in a tower. The park is 3 blocks away, Mia had argued that morning. We'll walk there, spend an hour on the playground and come right back. Fresh air and sunshine will be good for her. Lorenzo had finally agreed, but only if his security team followed at a distance. Mia had rolled her eyes but accepted. She was learning that Lorenzo's protectiveness came from love, not control. Now, holding Sophia's hand as they walked down the sidewalk, Mia felt something warm bloom in her chest. Sophia was wearing a bright green dress with white flowers, and she swung Mia's hand as they walked, chattering about everything she saw. Look, Mia, a dog. A big fluffy one. Can we get a dog? You'd have to ask your papa about that. He'll say no. He says dogs are too much work. Sophia sighed dramatically. But I'd take care of it. I'd feed it and brush it and teach it tricks. Maybe you should tell him that, Mia suggested. Make a plan. Show him you're responsible. Sophia considered this seriously. That's a good idea. You're smart, Mia. They reached the park and Sophia's eyes lit up at the sight of the playground. It was a beautiful space, well maintained, with modern equipment and plenty of shade trees. A few other children played there with their parents or caregivers. Can I go on the swings? Sophia asked, bouncing on her toes. Of course. That's why we're here. Mia pushed Sophia on the swings, listening to her delighted laughter as she soared higher and higher. It was the sound of pure joy, unfiltered and free. Mia couldn't help but smile, her heart full. After the swings they moved to the climbing structure. Sophia scrambled up with surprising agility, proud of her ability to reach the top. Mia stayed close, ready to catch her if needed, but Sophia was steady and sure. Mia, look how high I am. Sophia called from the platform. I see you. You're practically touching the clouds. I wish Mama could see me, Sophia said suddenly, her voice going quiet. She used to bring me to the park. Before she got sick. Mia climbed up beside her, settling on the platform so they were shoulder to shoulder. Tell me about those times. What did you and your mama do here? Sophia leaned against Mia, a gesture of trust and comfort. We'd swing together. Mama on one swing, me on the other. We'd see who could go higher. Mama always won, but sometimes she'd let me think I won instead. That sounds like fun, Mia said softly. And we'd have picnics. Mama made these special sandwiches with cheese and tomatoes and this green stuff that tasted good. I can't remember what it's called. Pesto maybe? Or basil? Pesto, Sophia repeated. Yeah, that's it. And she'd cut the sandwiches into shapes. Stars and hearts and flowers. Her voice grew thick with unshed tears. Papa tries to make them, but they don't taste the same. I bet your mama was a great cook, Mia said. She was good at everything, Sophia said. Then quietly, I'm starting to forget her face. Sometimes I look at pictures and it's like looking at a stranger. That scares me. Mia's heart clenched. This was the heart of Sophia's pain, she realized. The fear of forgetting. The guilt of moving forward. The terror of losing her mother twice, first to death and then to fading memory. Sophia, can I tell you something? Something important? Sophia nodded, wiping at her eyes. Your mama will always be part of you. Even if you can't remember exactly what she looked like or sounded like. She's in your heart. In the way you laugh, the way you're kind to people, the way you see beauty in the world. Those parts of her live in you. And that means she's never really gone. But I miss her, Sophia whispered. I miss her so much it hurts. I know. And it's okay to miss her. It's okay to be sad. But you know what else is okay? Being happy sometimes too. Laughing. Having fun. Your mama would want you to be happy. She'd want you to live your life fully, not stay stuck in sadness. Sophia was quiet for a long moment, processing. Then she said, Mia, do you think it's bad that I'm happy when I'm with you? Does that mean I'm forgetting Mama? Oh, sweetheart, no. Mia wrapped an arm around Sophia's small shoulders. Being happy doesn't mean you're forgetting. It means you're healing. Your mama loved you more than anything in the world, right? Sophia nodded. Then she'd want you to find joy again. She'd want you to have people in your life who care about you. She wouldn't want you to stay sad forever just to prove you loved her. You'll always love her. That never goes away. But you can love her and still let new people into your heart. There's room for both. There's room in my heart for you, Sophia said simply. You and Mama and Papa. All of you fit. Mia felt tears prick her own eyes. Thank you for letting me in. That's very brave of you. They sat in comfortable silence for a few minutes, watching other children play. Then Sophia spoke again. Mia, can I ask you something? Anything. Why are you so nice to me? Is it just because Papa pays you? The question was innocent but cut deep. Mia had been asking herself the same thing. Yes, Lorenzo paid her. But that wasn't why she came back every day. That wasn't why her heart raced when she saw Sophia's smile or why she lay awake at night thinking about ways to help this little girl heal. At first, Mia said honestly, I came because your papa asked me to. Because I needed the money. That's true. But now I come because I care about you. Because you're smart and kind and brave. Because spending time with you makes me happy. The money is nice, but you're the real reason I'm here. Sophia studied her face, those dark eyes searching for truth. Whatever she found satisfied her because she smiled and said, Good. Because I like you for you too, not just because you're nice or because you help me. I like you because you're you. That's the best compliment anyone's ever given me, Mia said, meaning it. They climbed down and moved to the sandbox, where Sophia began constructing an elaborate castle. As she worked, she talked more about her mother. Small memories, fragments of love. Mia listened to every word, helping her preserve these precious pieces of the past. Mama used to sing in the kitchen, Sophia remembered, patting sand into a tower shape. Italian songs like Papa's family sings. I don't know the words, but I remember the music. Maybe your papa could teach you the songs, Mia suggested. Then you'd have that piece of her back. Maybe. Sophia added a stick as a flag to her castle. Papa doesn't sing much anymore. He used to before Mama died. Now he's quiet a lot. Mia had noticed that too. Lorenzo was polite, generous, and clearly devoted to his daughter. But there was a sadness in him, a loneliness that matched Sophia's. He threw himself into work, often locked in his home office during the hours Mia was there. The few times they'd talked beyond logistics, she'd seen glimpses of the man he must have been before grief changed him. Funny, warm, passionate about his business and his heritage. Your papa loves you very much, Mia said. Sometimes when grown-ups are sad, they don't know how to show their feelings. But that doesn't mean the feelings aren't there. I know he loves me, Sophia said. I just wish he wasn't so sad all the time. I want him to be happy again too. Maybe he will be, Mia said. Healing takes time. For both of you. They spent another half hour at the park before heading back. As they walked, Sophia slipped her hand into Mia's as naturally as breathing. The gesture filled Mia with warmth and something that felt dangerously like love. When they returned to the penthouse, Lorenzo was waiting. He'd clearly been watching from the window, and relief crossed his face when they walked in. How was the park? He asked. It was perfect, Sophia announced. I went really high on the swings and I built a castle in the sandbox, and Mia said maybe you could teach me Mama's songs. Lorenzo's eyes met Mia's over Sophia's head. She saw surprise there and something else. Gratitude maybe. Or hope. I'd like that very much, Lorenzo said to Sophia. Maybe we could start tonight? Before bed. Really? Sophia's face lit up. You promise? I promise. Sophia hugged him, a real hug, not the stiff, obligatory embraces Mia had witnessed in the first week. Lorenzo closed his eyes, holding his daughter close, and Mia saw the tension drain from his shoulders. While Sophia went to wash her hands, Lorenzo approached Mia. Thank you. I don't know what you said to her at the park, but she seems lighter somehow. Freer. We talked about her mother, Mia said. About memories and grief and healing. She's processing a lot, Lorenzo. She's been holding everything inside for so long. I know. I tried to get her to talk about Isabella, but she'd shut down every time. With you she opens up. Maybe because I'm not part of the before, Mia suggested. I didn't know her mother. I don't have my own grief mixed up in it. That makes it safer for her, maybe? Lorenzo nodded slowly. That makes sense. He paused, seeming to gather courage. Mia, would you stay for dinner? Sophia would love it. And honestly, so would I. You could help me remember the songs. I haven't sung them in years. I'm not sure I remember all the words. It was a simple request, but it felt like a line being crossed. Staying for dinner meant becoming more than Sophia's companion. It meant becoming part of their life in a deeper way. Mia should have said no. Should have maintained boundaries. But looking at Lorenzo's hopeful expression, thinking of Sophia's joy, she found herself nodding. I'd like that. Dinner was simple, pasta with marinara sauce and a salad. Lorenzo cooked, and Mia was surprised to discover he was good at it. Sophia helped, standing on a stool to stir the sauce, proudly explaining each step. Papa's Nana taught him to cook, Sophia told Mia. She lives in Italy. We visited her once, but I was really little. I don't remember much. Nana Rosa, Lorenzo said with affection. She's 92 and still makes pasta from scratch every Sunday. She's convinced that's the secret to long life. Good food and family. Smart woman, Mia said. They ate at the large dining table, but instead of sitting at opposite ends like Mia expected, they clustered together at one end, close and comfortable. Sophia chatted throughout the meal, telling Lorenzo about every detail of their park adventure. After dinner, Lorenzo did the dishes while Mia and Sophia dried and put away. It felt domestic and natural, like they'd been doing this forever instead of just 3 weeks. When bedtime came, Sophia asked if Mia could stay for the songs. Lorenzo looked at Mia questioningly, and she nodded. They followed Sophia to her room, a space Mia knew well now, but Lorenzo rarely entered during her hours there. Sophia climbed into bed and Lorenzo sat on one side, Mia on the other. It felt intimate, the three of them in the soft glow of Sophia's nightlight. What song do you want to hear first? Lorenzo asked. The one Mama used to sing about the stars, Sophia said. Lorenzo's voice was rusty at first, hesitant. But as he sang the Italian lullaby, it grew stronger, richer. Mia didn't understand most of the words, but she understood the emotion. Love, loss, memory, hope. Sophia's eyes filled with tears, but she was smiling. That's it. That's Mama's song. It was her favorite, Lorenzo said softly. Her grandmother sang it to her when she was little. Sing it again? Sophia asked. Please? This time Lorenzo sang with more confidence. And when he finished, Sophia was already half asleep, her face peaceful. Thank you, Papa, she murmured. Thank you, Mia. Sleep well, sweetheart, Mia whispered. They tiptoed out of the room, leaving the door slightly ajar. In the hallway, Lorenzo leaned against the wall, emotion overwhelming him. I haven't sung that song since the funeral, he said quietly. I couldn't. It hurt too much. But you did tonight, Mia said. For Sophia. For both of us, I think. Lorenzo looked at her, and in his eyes, Mia saw the same warmth she felt. You're healing us, Mia? Both of us. I don't know how to thank you. You don't have to thank me. I care about you both. This isn't just a job anymore. The words hung between them, honest and dangerous. They'd crossed into territory neither had planned, feelings developing beyond the professional arrangement they'd agreed to. I should go, Mia said, though she didn't want to. I'll have the driver take you home. As Mia gathered her things, Sophia called out from her room. Mia? Will you come back tomorrow? Mia went to her doorway. Of course. I'll always come back. Promise? I promise. In the car on the way home, Mia replayed the evening. The domesticity of it. The warmth. The feeling of belonging. She was getting too attached, she knew. To Sophia and to Lorenzo. This was supposed to be temporary, a job to pay for school. But it was becoming something else entirely. Something that felt dangerously like family. And the scariest part? Mia didn't want to stop it. She wanted more of these evenings, more of Sophia's laughter, more of Lorenzo's grateful smiles. She wanted to be the person who helped them heal. Even if it meant risking her own heart in the process. 5 weeks after Mia started spending time with Sophia, everything changed on a random Thursday evening. It had been a good day. Mia had taught Sophia how to make friendship bracelets, and they created matching ones, blue and green threads woven together. Sophia wore hers proudly, showing it off to Lorenzo the moment he emerged from his office. Look, Papa. Mia made it with me. Lorenzo had admired it appropriately, and Sophia had immediately declared he needed one too. So they'd spent the next hour making a bracelet for him, Sophia choosing red and gold threads because those are Papa's favorite colors. When 6 o'clock approached, Mia started gathering her things. But Sophia grabbed her hand. Don't go yet. Stay for dinner. Please? Mia hesitated. They'd had dinner together a few times now, but always with advanced planning. This felt different, more spontaneous, more real. Mia probably has plans, Lorenzo said, but his eyes asked her to stay. I don't actually, Mia admitted. I finished my exam yesterday, so I don't have studying tonight. Then stay. Sophia tugged on her hand. Papa's making his special chicken. It's really good. Lorenzo smiled, soft and warm. It would be nice to have company. If you'd like to stay. So Mia stayed. And it was nice. More than nice. It was wonderful. Lorenzo cooked while Sophia set the table and Mia made a salad. They worked together seamlessly, like they'd done this 100 times before. Dinner conversation flowed easily. Sophia told them about kindergarten, about how she'd finally made a real friend, a girl named Priya who also liked to draw. Lorenzo talked about his day, explaining in simple terms about a deal his company was negotiating. Mia shared stories from her classes, and both Lorenzo and Sophia listened with genuine interest. After dinner, Sophia asked if they could watch a movie together. A family movie night, she called it, and neither Lorenzo nor Mia had the heart to correct the assumption that they were a family. They settled in the living room, Sophia between them on the couch. The movie was an animated film about a girl and her dragon, sweet and funny. Halfway through, Sophia fell asleep, her head on Mia's shoulder. Lorenzo noticed and smiled. She's out. That girl could sleep through anything once she's really tired. She had a busy day, Mia said softly, not wanting to wake her. Thanks to you, all her days are busy now. Happy. Lorenzo's voice was warm with gratitude. I can't tell you what that means to me. Watching her come back to life. She was always alive, Lorenzo. She just needed help remembering how to live. They sat in comfortable silence, the movie playing on. Neither suggested moving Sophia to her bed. Neither wanted to break this moment. When the movie ended, Lorenzo finally lifted Sophia gently. I'll put her to bed. Don't leave yet. Please. I'd like to talk to you. Mia's heart skipped. Something in his tone felt significant. She waited on the couch, nervous without knowing why. Lorenzo returned 15 minutes later with 2 glasses of wine. I hope you don't mind. I thought we could talk for a few minutes. Of course. Mia accepted the glass, taking a small sip. Lorenzo sat beside her, closer than necessary in the spacious room. Mia, I need to tell you something. I've been thinking about it for weeks and I can't keep it to myself anymore. Okay, Mia said, her pulse quickening. When I hired you, it was purely for Sophia. To help her heal. To give her someone she could trust and open up to. That was my only goal. I know. But somewhere along the way something changed. For me. Lorenzo set down his wine glass, turning to face her fully. I look forward to coming home now. Not just because Sophia is happy but because you're here. I find myself listening for your voice. Making excuses to come out of my office. Staying for dinner hoping you'll stay too. Mia's breath caught. Lorenzo. I'm not saying this to make you uncomfortable. And I know this complicates our arrangement. But I can't pretend anymore. I have feelings for you, Mia. Real feelings. And I needed you to know. Mia's mind raced. She'd felt the same pull, the same magnetic draw. But admitting it felt dangerous. I care about you too. About both of you. But this is complicated. I know. Believe me, I know. You work for me. I'm your employer. There's a power imbalance. But I can't help how I feel. Lorenzo reached out, gently taking her hand. You've brought light back into this apartment. Into our lives. Sophia loves you. And I'm falling for you. Hard. I'm falling for you too, Mia admitted, the words rushing out. I tried not to. I tried to keep it professional. But every time I see you with Sophia, every time you smile, every time you look at me like you're looking at me now, I feel it too. Lorenzo's eyes lit up with hope. Then maybe this doesn't have to be complicated. Maybe it can just be honest. But what about Sophia? What if things don't work out between us? I don't want to hurt her. Neither do I. She's been through enough loss. Lorenzo squeezed her hand gently. But we're already in each other's lives. If we're careful, if we go slowly, we can see where this leads without disrupting what you and Sophia have built. How would that work? However we want it to work. We're both adults. We can set our own pace. Lorenzo paused, then asked, would you go on a date with me? A real date. Just the two of us. Mia's heart soared and terrified her in equal measure. This was crossing a line. This was changing everything. But looking into Lorenzo's hopeful eyes, feeling his warm hand in hers, she couldn't bring herself to say no. Yes, I'd like that. Lorenzo's smile could have lit the entire city. Saturday night? I'll take you somewhere special. Saturday works. They sat there holding hands, the magnitude of what they just admitted settling over them. Then Lorenzo leaned in slowly, giving her time to pull away if she wanted. Mia didn't want to. She met him halfway, and when their lips touched, it felt like coming home. The kiss was soft, tentative, perfect. When they pulled apart, both were smiling. I've wanted to do that for weeks, Lorenzo admitted. Me too. They talked for another hour about everything and nothing. About Lorenzo's childhood in Italy and New York. About Mia's family in Tennessee. About dreams and fears and hopes. About what this new development might mean for them. When Mia finally left that night, Lorenzo walked her to the elevator. At the doors, he kissed her once more, gentle and sweet. Thank you for taking a chance on us, he said. Thank you for being brave enough to tell me how you felt. The elevator ride down felt like floating. Mia couldn't stop smiling. She'd crossed a line tonight, but it felt right. Natural. Like this was always where they were heading. Her phone buzzed as she got in the car. A text from Lorenzo. Already counting the hours until Saturday. Sleep well, beautiful. Mia hugged her phone to her chest, giddy and nervous and happy all at once. The next afternoon, Sophia noticed something different immediately. Mia, you're smiling a lot today. More than usual. Am I? Mia tried to control her expression. Wow. And Papa was singing this morning? He never sings except at bedtime now. Sophia studied her thoughtfully. Did something good happen? Maybe, Mia said, unable to hide her smile. Is it a secret? A little bit. Sophia seemed to accept this. They spent the afternoon painting, creating colorful masterpieces that Sophia insisted they hang on the refrigerator. When Lorenzo came home early, Sophia noticed that too. Papa, you're home before dinner. I thought I'd spend some time with my two favorite people, Lorenzo said, and his eyes lingered on Mia in a way that made her blush. Sophia looked between them, her intelligent little mind working. Are you and Mia friends now? Like special friends? Lorenzo and Mia exchanged glances. They'd agreed to keep their relationship private at first, but Sophia was perceptive. We're friends, Lorenzo confirmed. Good friends? Good. Sophia nodded with satisfaction. I like it when Papa has friends. He's been lonely. That evening after Mia left, Sophia asked her father a question that made his heart stop. Papa, do you like Mia? Like how you liked Mama? Lorenzo knelt down to Sophia's level. Sweetheart, what makes you ask that? Because you look at her the way you used to look at Mama. In the pictures. Like she's special. Lorenzo took a deep breath. Mia is special. She's very kind and she makes us both happy. How would you feel if Papa liked Mia that way? Sophia thought about it seriously. Would Mia stay forever then? Would she be part of our family? Maybe. Things work out. Would that be okay with you? Sophia smiled, the biggest smile Lorenzo had seen from her. I'd like that. I love Mia. And you should have someone who makes you happy. Mama would want that. Lorenzo pulled his daughter into a hug, overwhelmed with love and relief. Thank you, sweetheart. That means everything to me. But Papa? Sophia pulled back to look at him. If you and Mia get married, can we get a dog too? Lorenzo laughed, the sound pure joy. We'll see. Let's take things one step at a time. That night he texted Mia. Sophia knows something is different. She gave us her blessing. Says she loves you. Mia's response came immediately. I love her too. This is really happening, isn't it? Yes. And I couldn't be happier. Neither could Mia. Lying in bed that night, she thought about how much her life had changed in just a few weeks. She'd walked into a restaurant to wait tables and ended up finding a family. Finding love. It was fast. Maybe too fast. But it felt right in a way nothing else ever had. Saturday couldn't come soon enough. Saturday arrived bright and clear. Mia spent the entire day in a state of nervous excitement, changing her outfit 4 times before finally settling on a simple red dress that hugged her curves without being too formal. Kenji watched her with amusement. You're panicking. It's cute. I'm not panicking. I'm just nervous. This is a real date. With a billionaire. Who I'm already half in love with. What if I mess it up? Mia, he's already in love with you. I've seen the way he looks at you when he picks Sophia up from your visits. The man is gone. You've never met Lorenzo. I saw him once when I dropped off your textbook. Trust me, he's got it bad. Just be yourself. That's who he fell for. Mia hugged Kenji. Thank you. For everything. For listening to me obsess about this. That's what friends are for. Now go. Your chariot awaits. The car arrived at 7, but instead of Lorenzo's usual driver, Lorenzo himself sat in the driver's seat of a sleek silver car. He got out when he saw her and Mia's breath caught. He wore dark slacks and a blue button-down shirt that made his eyes look even darker. He was devastatingly handsome. "You look beautiful," Lorenzo said, opening her door. "You look pretty good yourself," Mia replied, sliding into the leather seat. As Lorenzo drove, they chatted easily. The nervous tension from earlier faded into comfortable warmth. This was still Lorenzo, still the man she'd been talking with for weeks. The date label didn't change the easy connection between them. "Where are we going?" Mia asked. "It's a surprise. But I promise you'll like it." They drove to a part of the city Mia had never visited, an area by the water where expensive restaurants lined the pier. But Lorenzo didn't stop at any of them. Instead, he pulled into a private marina. "We're taking a boat?" Mia asked, surprised and delighted. "A small yacht, actually. I thought we could have dinner on the water. Away from crowds and cameras. Just us." The yacht was beautiful, all gleaming wood and polished brass. Lorenzo helped her aboard, and Mia saw that the deck had been transformed. String lights hung overhead, creating a canopy of stars. A small table was set for two with candles and flowers. Soft music played from hidden speakers. "Lorenzo, this is amazing. I wanted tonight to be special. You deserve special." As the boat pulled away from the dock, gliding smoothly across the calm water, Lorenzo poured wine and served the first course. He'd had it catered, he explained, from his favorite Italian restaurant. They ate slowly, savoring each bite, talking between courses. The conversation flowed from light to deep, covering everything from favorite books to childhood dreams to fears about the future. "Tell me about your family," Lorenzo said over the main course. "Sophia mentioned your grandmother. Nana Rose. She raised me after my parents died in a car accident when I was 8. Mia's voice was soft with old grief. "She's the strongest woman I know. Worked 2 jobs to put me through high school, never complained once. She's why I'm in college. She believed in me when I didn't believe in myself. She sounds wonderful. I'd like to meet her someday. She'd like you. She always told me to find someone who treated me like I was precious. Someone who saw my worth." Mia met his eyes. "You do that. You and Sophia both make me feel valued. Because you are. More than you know." Lorenzo reached across the table, taking her hand. "I haven't felt this way since Isabella. I didn't think I could again. You've awakened something in me that I thought died with her. Do you feel guilty about that?" Mia asked gently. "About moving on?" Lorenzo considered the question. "At first, yes. When I first realized I had feelings for you, I felt like I was betraying Isabella's memory. But then I remembered something she told me near the end. She made me promise that if something happened to her, I wouldn't shut down. She said Sophia would need a happy father, not a grieving ghost. And she said I deserved to find love again if I could." Tears pricked Mia's eyes. "She sounds like she was an incredible person." "She was. And she'd like you, I think. You have the same warmth she did. The same way of making people feel seen." Lorenzo paused. "I'll always love Isabella. She gave me Sophia and she taught me what real love looked like. But loving you doesn't diminish what I felt for her. The heart has room for multiple loves." Sophia said something similar, Mia remembered. About having room in her heart for both her mama and for me. She's a wise kid. Takes after her mother that way. After dinner, they moved to the bow of the yacht, sitting close together as the boat drifted under the stars. The city skyline glittered in the distance, but out here, it felt like they were alone in the world. "I talked to my best friend Antonio about you," Lorenzo admitted. "He's my business partner, the only one who really knows what I've been through these past 3 years. I told him I was falling for you, and he said it was about time." "Time for what?" "Time for me to let myself be happy again. Time to stop just existing and start living." Lorenzo turned to face her. "You make me want to live again, Mia. You and Sophia. You've given me a reason to come home, to plan for the future, to hope." "You've done the same for me," Mia said. "Before I met you both, I was just going through the motions. School, work, sleep, repeat. I was so focused on surviving that I forgot about actually living. But with you, with Sophia, I feel alive. I feel like I'm part of something bigger than just me." Lorenzo cupped her face gently. "You are. You're part of us now. If you'll have us." "I already have you," Mia whispered. "Both of you. You're already in my heart." They kissed under the stars, the boat rocking gently beneath them, and Mia felt like she was exactly where she was meant to be. In Lorenzo's arms, surrounded by love, with a future full of possibilities stretching before them. When they finally returned to the marina, it was past midnight. Lorenzo drove Mia home, walking her to her door like a proper gentleman. "Thank you for tonight," Mia said. "It was perfect. Thank you for saying yes. For taking a chance on me." Lorenzo kissed her softly. "Can I see you tomorrow? Not just for Sophia but for us." "Yes. I'd like that." "Good. Because Sophia's been asking about going to the zoo. I thought maybe the three of us could go together. As a family." The word hung between them, significant and beautiful. Family. That's what they were becoming. "I'd love that," Mia said. That night, Mia couldn't sleep. She was too happy, too excited, too full of hope. She texted Lorenzo, knowing he'd probably still be awake. "Are you sleeping?" His response came immediately. "No. Thinking about you." "Me too. About you, I mean. I don't want to rush this, but I also don't want to waste time pretending I don't feel what I feel." "Is that crazy?" "If it is, we're both crazy. Because I feel the same way. Then let's be crazy together. Let's see where this goes." "Deal." The next day at the zoo, Sophia held both their hands as they walked from exhibit to exhibit. She chattered constantly, pointing out every animal, reading every sign, completely oblivious to the meaningful looks Lorenzo and Mia kept exchanging over her head. At the elephant enclosure, Sophia suddenly asked, "Are you and Mia boyfriend and girlfriend now, Papa?" Lorenzo and Mia looked at each other, then down at Sophia's curious face. "Would that be okay with you if we were?" Lorenzo asked. Sophia thought about it for approximately 2 seconds. "Yes. Then Mia can come over all the time, not just in the afternoons. And we can do stuff together like a real family." "We already do stuff together," Mia pointed out. "But this would be better. Because you'd be Papa's girlfriend, and maybe someday you could be my new mama." Sophia said it so casually, like she was discussing the weather. Mia's heart stopped. She looked at Lorenzo, whose eyes were shining with emotion. "Sophia," Lorenzo said carefully, "Mia can never replace your mama. Your mama was special and unique, and she'll always be your mama." "I know that," Sophia said with a wisdom beyond her years. "But people can have more than one mama, right? I have mama in my heart, but Mia could be my mama too. A different kind of mama. Is that okay?" "Sweetheart, that's absolutely okay," Mia said, kneeling down to hug Sophia. "I'd be honored to be that for you. If that's what you want." "I want it," Sophia said firmly. Then to Lorenzo, "Do you want it too, Papa?" Lorenzo pulled both of them into a hug. More than anything. Standing there in the zoo, surrounded by families and children and the sounds of life, they became their own little family. Broken pieces fitting together to create something whole and beautiful and new. Later that day, Lorenzo called Antonio to share the news. His friend's response was exactly what he needed to hear. "It's about time, my friend. You deserve this happiness. You all do." Mia called Kenji, who screamed so loud she had to hold the phone away from her ear. I told you this was going to happen. You're basically living a romance story." "It's real though," Mia said laughing. "It's real and it's wonderful and I'm so happy. You deserve it. After everything you've been through, you deserve every bit of this happiness." That night, after Sophia was in bed, Lorenzo and Mia sat on his balcony, looking out at the city lights. Lorenzo had his arm around her, and Mia leaned into his warmth. "This is moving fast," Lorenzo said. "Some people might say too fast. Let them say it. We know what we feel. We know this is right. It is right. It's the most right thing I've felt in years." Lorenzo kissed the top of her head. "I'm falling in love with you, Mia Johnson. Actually, I think I'm already there. I love you." Mia turned to look at him, seeing the truth in his eyes. "I love you too. I think I have since that first night in the restaurant." They kissed, slow and deep, sealing their confession. And somewhere in the apartment, Sophia slept peacefully, dreaming of a family whole again. 2 weeks after their confession of love, Mia and Lorenzo had settled into a comfortable rhythm. She still spent her afternoons with Sophia, but now she stayed most evenings too, sharing dinners and movie nights and bedtime routines. She had her own toothbrush in the guest bathroom and a drawer in Sophia's room for the spare clothes she kept there. They hadn't told Sophia officially that they were together, but the little girl had eyes. She saw the way they looked at each other. She noticed when they held hands. She smiled every time Lorenzo kissed Mia on the cheek. Today was Saturday and they planned a special outing. The city aquarium had a new exhibit, and Sophia had been begging to go since she'd seen the commercials. Lorenzo had bought tickets for all 3 of them, making it clear this was a family outing. Mia arrived at 9 in the morning, finding Sophia already dressed and bouncing with excitement. She wore a bright blue dress covered in fish patterns, and she'd insisted on wearing her hair in 2 braids like a mermaid. Mia. Finally. I've been waiting forever. Sophia launched herself into Mia's arms. I'm 5 minutes early, sweetheart, Mia laughed, hugging her back. But I've been awake since 6. That's forever in kid time. Lorenzo emerged from his room, also dressed casually in jeans and a green shirt. He greeted Mia with a kiss, no longer hiding his affection from Sophia. Ready for fish? He asked. So ready, Mia confirmed. The aquarium was crowded but magical. Sophia pressed her face against every glass tank, identifying fish by name with impressive accuracy. She'd apparently been studying the aquarium's website all week, memorizing facts to share with them. Did you know that clownfish are born boys and can turn into girls? Sophia announced at the tropical reef exhibit. And they live in groups where only the biggest fish gets to be a girl. I did not know that, Mia said, genuinely impressed. You're so smart. I like learning about animals. Maybe I'll be a scientist when I grow up. Or a teacher like you're going to be. Or both. They spent hours exploring every exhibit. The touch tanks where Sophia could pet stingrays. The shark tunnel where massive predators swam overhead. The jellyfish room with its ethereal, glowing creatures floating in the dark. It was in the jellyfish room that everything changed. Sophia had run ahead to look at a particularly large jellyfish, leaving Lorenzo and Mia alone in the dim, blue-lit space. The jellyfish drifted around them like ghosts, beautiful and otherworldly. This is amazing, Mia said, watching a translucent creature pulse past. You're amazing, Lorenzo corrected, pulling her close. Thank you for this. For all of it. For loving us. It's easy to love you both. They stood there wrapped in each other's arms, surrounded by the gentle glow of the jellyfish. And then, naturally, inevitably, they kissed. Not a quick peck like they'd shared before. A real kiss, deep and meaningful and full of promise. When they pulled apart, Sophia was standing there watching them with the biggest smile Mia had ever seen. Finally, Sophia said dramatically. I thought you'd never kiss for real. You've been doing those little baby kisses forever. Lorenzo and Mia burst out laughing. Were you spying on us? Lorenzo asked. No, I just came back because there's a really cool octopus in the next room and you were taking forever. Sophia grabbed both their hands. But I'm glad you kissed. Real couples kiss. Does this mean Mia is officially your girlfriend now? Yes, Lorenzo said, looking at Mia for confirmation. If she wants to be. I definitely want to be, Mia agreed. Good. Now can we go see the octopus? He can open jars. It's really cool. They followed Sophia to the next exhibit, but everything felt different now. Lighter. More official. They'd crossed another line, admitted their relationship not just to each other but to Sophia. There was no going back now. After the aquarium, they went for ice cream, sitting at an outdoor table and enjoying the warm afternoon. Sophia got chocolate, her face covered in it within minutes. Lorenzo and Mia shared smiles over her head, that secret language of parents amused by their child. Can I ask you something? Sophia said suddenly, her tone serious. Always, Mia replied. When you and Papa get married, will we have a wedding? With a big cake and pretty flowers and everything? Mia nearly choked on her ice cream. Lorenzo's eyes went wide. They'd been dating for 2 weeks, and Sophia was already planning their wedding. Sophia, we're not engaged, Lorenzo said gently. We're just dating right now. But you will get married, right? Because you love each other, and that's what people do when they love each other. Sometimes, Lorenzo agreed. But not always right away. Sometimes people date for a long time first. They want to make sure they're right for each other. Sophia considered this. But you already know you're right for each other. I can tell. So why wait? Because some things are worth taking time with, Mia explained. You're Papa and I want to make sure we do everything right. For us and for you. Okay. But when you do get married, I want to be the flower girl. And I want a purple dress. And can we get a dog then? Lorenzo laughed. You and this dog. We'll see, sweetheart. One step at a time. That evening, after they'd returned home and Sophia was busy playing in her room, Lorenzo pulled Mia aside. I need to tell you something, he said, his expression serious. What Sophia said today about marriage. I know it's early. I know we just started this. But I want you to know that I'm serious about you. About us. When I think about my future, I see you in it. Mia's heart raced. I see you in mine too. Both of you. I'm not proposing, Lorenzo clarified quickly. Not yet. But I want you to know my intentions. I'm not just dating you casually. I'm dating you because I see a future with you. Because I want to build a life with you. I want that too, Mia said softly. I know it's fast. I know people will think we're crazy. But I've never been more sure of anything. Lorenzo pulled her close, resting his forehead against hers. Then we'll be crazy together. And when the time is right, when we've built a strong foundation, I'm going to ask you to marry me. And I really hope you'll say yes. I will, Mia promised. Whenever you ask, the answer will be yes. They kissed again, sealing the promise. It was a promise of future and commitment and love that would last. Later that night, Lorenzo had to take a business call. It was Antonio, his business partner, checking in about a deal they were negotiating. How's everything with Mia? Antonio asked after they'd finished discussing business. Perfect. Better than perfect. Antonio, I think she's the one. I think I'm going to marry her. That's wonderful, my friend. But have you thought about the practical aspects? The media attention? Your world is very different from hers. Are you sure she's ready for that? Lorenzo paused. He hadn't really considered that. He'd been so focused on his feelings, on Sophia's happiness, that he hadn't thought about what dating him would mean for Mia's life. The scrutiny, the attention, the pressure. I should talk to her about that, Lorenzo admitted. Make sure she knows what she's getting into. Do it soon. Better she knows now than being blindsided later. After hanging up, Lorenzo found Mia on the balcony looking out at the city lights. He wrapped his arms around her from behind. There's something we need to discuss, he said quietly. Something I should have mentioned before. That sounds ominous. It's not bad, but it's important. Mia, my life comes with certain complications. Media attention, public scrutiny, people wanting to know everything about my personal life. When we go public with our relationship, and we will eventually, things are going to change for you. Photographers might follow you. Reporters might ask questions. People will have opinions about us, about you. Mia turned in his arms to face him. I know. I've thought about that. You have. Lorenzo, you're a billionaire CEO. Of course there will be attention. But I don't care about that. I care about you and Sophia. Everything else is just noise. It might be more than noise. Could be invasive. Stressful. Are you sure you're ready for that? I'm sure I'm ready for you. For us. Whatever comes with that, we'll handle together. Mia smiled. You're not getting rid of me that easily. Lorenzo kissed her, relief and love flooding through him. Good. Because I don't want to let you go. Ever. The next evening, Lorenzo suggested they have dinner at a restaurant, just the two of them. Sophia would stay with his housekeeper, Mrs. Chen, who came several times a week and adored Sophia. A date? Mia asked. Without Sophia? I love our family time, but I also want time alone with you. To talk without little ears hearing everything. To hold your hand across a table. To be a couple, not just parents. I'd like that. They went to a small Italian restaurant, the kind of place with checkered tablecloths and candles and wine bottles. It was intimate and cozy, and Lorenzo had reserved a corner booth for privacy. Over pasta and wine they talked about everything. Their hopes for the future. Lorenzo's work and Mia's studies. Their childhoods and dreams. They talked for hours, the conversation flowing as easily as it always did. Tell me about your company, Mia said. You rarely talk about work. Because work is boring compared to you, Lorenzo teased. But he explained anyway. Castellano Industries dealt in real estate development and technology investments. He'd taken over from his father 10 years ago and had grown it into a multi-billion-dollar company. That's impressive, Mia said. You should be proud. I am. But it's also lonely at the top. I spend my days making decisions that affect thousands of people. I attend meetings and negotiate deals and manage crises. It's fulfilling but exhausting. Coming home to you and Sophia, that's what reminds me why I do it all. You're my anchor to what really matters. You're my anchor too. You and Sophia. You've given me purpose beyond just surviving. They left the restaurant hand in hand, walking slowly through the warm evening. Lorenzo pulled Mia into a quiet doorway and kissed her thoroughly, not caring who might see. I love you, he murmured against her lips. More every day. I love you too. So much. When they returned to the penthouse, Mrs. Chen reported that Sophia had been perfect, eating her dinner and going to bed without fuss. She left with a knowing smile, clearly pleased to see Lorenzo so happy. Lorenzo walked Mia to the guest room where she'd started keeping more and more of her things. At the door he hesitated. Stay, he said. Not in the guest room. With me. Mia's breath caught. They'd kissed, they'd confessed their love, but they hadn't taken that step yet. Lorenzo. I know we've been taking things slow. And I'm not trying to rush you. But I want to fall asleep with you in my arms. I want to wake up next to you. Just sleep. Nothing more unless you want more. Mia thought about it for approximately 3 seconds. I want that too. They went to Lorenzo's room together, nervous and excited. It felt like another line being crossed, another step toward forever. They changed in separate rooms, Mia borrowing one of Lorenzo's shirts to sleep in. When she emerged, Lorenzo was already in bed, and the look he gave her nearly melted her. You're beautiful. It's just a shirt. It's my shirt. On you. Trust me, it's beautiful. They climbed into bed together and Lorenzo pulled her close, her back against his chest, his arm wrapped around her waist. It felt perfect, natural, like they'd been sleeping this way for years. Comfortable? Lorenzo asked. Very. You. Incredibly. This is where you belong, Mia. Right here with me. They talked in the darkness, voices quiet, sharing secrets and dreams. Eventually Mia drifted off, safe and loved in Lorenzo's arms. When Sophia burst into the room the next morning, she found them still wrapped around each other, both smiling in their sleep. The little girl grinned and ran to get her camera. This was a moment she wanted to remember forever. Her family together at last. Does love really happen this fast, or are Mia and Lorenzo moving too quickly? Sometimes the heart knows what it wants before the mind catches up. If you believe in second chances and true love, hit that subscribe button and tell us in the comments. How long did it take you to know you'd found the one? Share your story below. Spring turned to summer, and with it came a deepening of the bond between Lorenzo, Mia, and Sophia. Mia had officially moved into the penthouse, keeping her old apartment only to maintain her independence and as a place to study when she needed quiet. Sophia's transformation was complete. The sad, silent child had become a vibrant, talkative, joyful little girl. She smiled constantly, laughed freely, and had even made several friends at her summer camp program. Her therapist, Dr. Patel, who'd been seeing her since Isabella's death with minimal progress, was amazed. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it, Dr. Patel told Lorenzo during a parent check-in. Sophia is thriving. She's processed her grief in healthy ways, formed secure attachments, and shows no signs of the depression that worried us so much. This is remarkable progress. Lorenzo knew the progress was due to Mia. Her steady presence, her unconditional love, her ability to let Sophia express her feelings without judgment. Mia had become Sophia's safe space, the person she ran to with every joy and every worry. And somewhere along the way, Mia had become Lorenzo's safe space too. After years of bearing everything alone, he finally had a partner. Someone to share his fears with, his dreams, his burdens. Mia listened when he talked about work stress. She encouraged him when deals went wrong. She celebrated his successes and comforted his failures. They'd settled into a beautiful routine. Mornings were family time. Lorenzo made breakfast while Mia helped Sophia get ready for camp. They'd eat together, talking about their plans for the day. Then Lorenzo would go to work. Mia would either attend classes or study, and Sophia would go to camp. Afternoons, Mia picked up Sophia and they'd have their special time together. They'd do art projects, go to the park, visit museums, or just read books on the couch. When Lorenzo came home, usually around 6, they'd have family dinner together. Evenings were for movies, games, or walks around the neighborhood. Bedtimes were a family affair too, all three of them in Sophia's room for stories and songs. Then Lorenzo and Mia would have a few hours alone, talking or watching shows or simply being together. Weekends were for adventures. They'd visited nearly every attraction in the city. The zoo, the science museum, the botanical gardens, the children's theater. They'd taken day trips to the beach and the mountains. They'd had picnics and barbecues and lazy afternoons in the park. To anyone watching, they were a normal family. A happy family. No one would guess they'd only been together for a few months. One Saturday in late July, they decided to have a pool party. Lorenzo's building had a private rooftop pool that residents could reserve. He'd booked it for the afternoon and invited Antonio and his wife, Patricia, along with their 2 children. Sophia was thrilled. She'd met Antonio's kids, Marco and Isabella, a few times and loved playing with them. Plus, she got to show off her swimming skills, which had improved dramatically with Mia's patient teaching. Mia wore a red one-piece swimsuit that made Lorenzo temporarily forget how to form words. She laughed at his expression and kissed his cheek. Focus, Castellano. We have guests arriving soon. You're making that very difficult, he murmured, pulling her close for a proper kiss. You gross. Sophia called from where she was already in the pool. Stop kissing and come swim. The party was perfect. The kids played water games while the adults lounged on chairs, supervising and chatting. Patricia, a warm woman with kind eyes, pulled Mia aside at one point. I need to tell you something, Patricia said. I've known Lorenzo for 15 years. I watched him fall apart when Isabella died. I watched him shut down, focus only on work, and Sophia stop living. In the past few months, I've watched him come back to life. That's because of you. Mia felt tears prick her eyes. He's given me just as much. Him and Sophia both. I can see that. You're good together. And Sophia adores you. Antonio told me she calls you her bonus mama. She does, Mia confirmed, her heart full. It's the greatest honor of my life. You're going to marry him, aren't you? If he asks me, yes. Without hesitation. Patricia smiled. He will. So now I think he's just waiting for the right moment. As if summoning him, Lorenzo appeared with drinks for both of them. Patricia excused herself tactfully, leaving them alone. Having fun? Lorenzo asked, handing Mia a lemonade. The best time. Thank you for this. For everything. Thank you for being here. For making us whole. They watched Sophia play with Marco and Isabella, her laughter ringing out across the rooftop. She was so different from the child Mia had met 4 months ago. Happy, confident, loved. I want to show you something, Lorenzo said suddenly. Tonight after Sophia goes to bed. Something important. Okay. Should I be nervous? No. Excited maybe. But not nervous. That evening, after Sophia was tucked in and sleeping peacefully, Lorenzo led Mia to his office. It was a room she rarely entered, his private space for work. But tonight he brought her to his desk and opened a drawer. Inside was a small black box. Mia's heart stopped. Lorenzo. I'm not proposing, he said quickly, then amended, not yet. But I want you to see this. To know my intentions. He opened the box, revealing a stunning ring. A central diamond surrounded by smaller stones, set in white gold. It was elegant, timeless, beautiful. It was my grandmother's, Lorenzo explained. Nana Rosa wore it for 60 years. Before she died, she gave it to me and told me to save it for when I found my true love. I thought Isabella was that person. But Isabella's ring was different, one I designed specifically for her. This ring, my grandmother's ring, I've been saving. Waiting for the right woman. And that's you, Mia? Tears streamed down Mia's face. It's beautiful. I want to give it to you. Not tonight, but soon. I want to do this right. Ask your grandmother for her blessing. Plan something special. Make it a moment you'll remember forever. But I wanted you to see it. To know that I'm serious about us. About forever. I'm serious too, Mia whispered. I want forever with you. Lorenzo closed the box and put it back in the drawer. Then he pulled Mia into his arms. Soon, he promised. Very soon I'm going to make you my wife. I can't wait. They kissed long and deep, sealing the promise of their future. When they finally pulled apart, both were smiling through tears. Should we tell Sophia? Mia asked. That we're planning to get engaged? Not yet. Let's wait until it's official. But she's going to be thrilled. She's been planning our wedding since our second date. Mia laughed. She has, hasn't she? Purple dress and all. And a dog. Don't forget the dog. Are we actually getting a dog? Lorenzo sighed dramatically. Probably. That child is impossible to say no to. She gets it from her father. I don't know what you're talking about. I'm very good at saying no. Really? Then say no to this. Mia kissed him again and Lorenzo melted into it, proving her point. The next few weeks flew by in a haze of happiness. Lorenzo took a week off work, unprecedented for him, and they went on a family vacation to a beach resort. Sophia learned to build sandcastles and hunt for shells. She swam in the ocean and ate too much ice cream and laughed until she couldn't breathe. One evening, as the sun set over the water painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Sophia sat between Lorenzo and Mia on the beach. This is the best summer ever, she announced. The best summer of my whole life. Mine too, Mia agreed. Mine three, Lorenzo added, wrapping his arms around both his girls. Can we come back next year? Sophia asked. Same place, same time? We can make it a tradition, Lorenzo promised. Every summer, the three of us. And the dog, Sophia added. When we get one. And the dog, Lorenzo agreed with a laugh. Sophia smiled, content. Then she said something that made both adults' hearts stop. I'm really happy, Papa. I think Mama would be happy too. Because we're happy. Lorenzo's voice was thick with emotion. I think so too, sweetheart. Your mama loved you more than anything. She'd be so proud of the girl you've become. And she'd like Mia, Sophia stated confidently. Because Mia makes us happy. That's what mamas want. for their families to be happy. Your mama and I would have been friends, I think, Mia said softly. We both loved the same two people very much. Sophia leaned against Mia. I still miss her. But it doesn't hurt as much anymore. Is that okay? That's healing, Mia explained. You'll always miss her. But the pain fades while the love stays. That's how it's supposed to work. Good. Because I have room in my heart for both of you now. Mama's my forever mama, but you're my right now mama. And I need a right now mama. Mia had to excuse herself, walking down the beach with tears streaming down her face. Lorenzo followed, leaving Sophia to chase the waves. Are you okay? He asked, wrapping her in his arms. I'm perfect. This is just overwhelming. In the best way. She loves you so much. I love her too. Both of you. This family we've built, it's everything I never knew I needed. Then let's make it official. Lorenzo pulled back to look at her. I was going to wait. Do this properly. But this moment feels right. Mia Johnson, will you marry me? Mia's eyes went wide. Right now? Here? Why not? I love you. You love me. Sophia loves us both. We're already a family. Let's make it legal. Make it permanent. Say you'll be my wife. Yes, Mia breathed. Yes, yes, 1,000 times yes. Lorenzo kissed her as the sun set behind them, and Sophia's delighted scream carried across the beach. Did you just propose? Did Papa just propose? How did you know? Lorenzo called back. Because you got down on your knee, duh. That's what people do when they propose. She ran to them and Lorenzo scooped her up along with Mia, all three of them laughing and crying and holding each other tight. We're getting married. Sophia announced to the entire beach. Mia's going to be my mama. Strangers applauded. A few people cheered. And Lorenzo held his family, complete at last, and thanked whatever power had brought Mia into their lives. That night, Lorenzo called Mia's grandmother to officially ask for her blessing, even though the proposal had already happened. Nana Rose laughed through happy tears. Baby girl, I've been waiting for this call since you first told me about that little girl and her daddy. You have my blessing, my love, and all my prayers for happiness. Lorenzo also called Antonio, who hooped so loud Lorenzo had to hold the phone away from his ear. Finally. I knew it. When's the wedding? We haven't even discussed that yet. Well, discuss it fast. I want to throw you the best bachelor party the city's ever seen. That night, in bed with Mia curled against him, Lorenzo marveled at how much his life had changed. For months ago he'd been a shell of a man going through motions, existing but not living. Now he had everything. Love, family, hope, future. Thank you, he whispered to Mia. For what? For taking a chance on us. For loving Sophia. For saving us both. You saved me too, Mia replied. We saved each other. And in the next room, Sophia slept with a smile on her face, dreaming of purple dresses and flower girls and the family she'd wished for on every birthday candle for 3 years. Dreams, it turned out, really did come true. The engagement announcement was everything Lorenzo had hoped for and nothing he'd expected. He'd planned a simple family celebration, maybe a small party with close friends. But Sophia had other ideas. We need to tell everyone, she declared the morning after the proposal. All my friends at camp, all Papa's work friends, everyone. So Lorenzo had agreed to a small engagement party. Nothing too fancy, just friends and family. About 50 people in total, held at the penthouse on a Saturday evening. The party was beautiful. Patricia helped Mia plan it, keeping everything elegant but warm. String lights decorated the balcony. A local restaurant catered with Italian food that filled the apartment with delicious smells. Sophia wore her purple dress, the one she'd been saving for when Papa and Mia got married, and she'd insisted on being the one to announce the engagement officially. Everyone, she'd called out, tapping a spoon against her glass like she'd seen adults do in movies. I have an announcement. Papa and Mia are getting married. Which means I'm getting a bonus mama and we're going to be a real family forever. The crowd had cheered and Mia had blushed beautifully. Lorenzo had pulled her close, kissing her in front of everyone, no longer caring who saw their affection. Antonio had given a toast, funny and heartfelt. To Lorenzo, who finally remembered how to smile. To Mia, who reminded him how. And to Sophia, who brought them together. May your marriage be filled with love, laughter, and pasta. Everything had been perfect. Until Monday morning when Lorenzo's assistant called him into the office early for an emergency meeting. We have a problem, Francesca said, her face grim. She was Lorenzo's right hand at the company, efficient and loyal. If she said there was a problem, there was a problem. She laid a newspaper on his desk. The headline made Lorenzo's blood run cold. Billionaire CEO Lorenzo Castellano engaged to former waitress. Gold digger or true love? The article was brutal. It questioned Mia's motives, suggested she targeted Lorenzo deliberately, implied she was using Sophia to manipulate him. It included photos from the engagement party, including one of Sophia hugging Mia, captioned, "The child who made it all possible." Who wrote this? Lorenzo demanded, rage building. Richard Blackwell's media connections. He's behind it. Richard Blackwell. Of course. Lorenzo's business rival, the man who'd been trying to buy out Castellano Industries for years. The man Lorenzo had beaten in several major deals. The man who held a grudge. He's going after my family now? Lorenzo's voice was dangerous. He's involving Sophia and Mia in our business rivalry? It gets worse. Francesca pulled up a website on her tablet. A gossip blog with more articles, more photos. Some of them were of Mia on campus at the restaurant where she still worked weekend shifts, walking Sophia in the park. Someone had been following her, photographing her, digging into her life. There were quotes from anonymous sources close to the family, suggesting Mia had pursued Lorenzo deliberately for his money. That she'd manipulated Sophia's grief to insert herself into their lives. That the engagement was rushed and suspicious. Lorenzo felt sick. How bad is this going to get? It's already spreading. 6 major outlets have picked up the story. By tonight it'll be everywhere. Lorenzo, you need to prepare Mia. And Sophia. This is going to be ugly. Lorenzo left work immediately, driving home faster than he should. He needed to warn Mia before she saw the articles. He needed to protect her from the coming storm. But he was too late. He found Mia in the kitchen, her laptop open, tears streaming down her face. She was reading the articles, each one worse than the last. "Mia," Lorenzo said gently, approaching carefully. She looked up, and the pain in her eyes broke his heart. "They're saying I used Sophia. That I manipulated a grieving child to get to your money. They're making me sound like a monster. You're not. Anyone who knows you knows that's not true. But most people don't know me. They'll believe this. They'll think the worst of me." Mia's voice broke. "Lorenzo, there are reporters outside my campus. They followed me this morning, asking questions. They wanted to know about my relationship with Sophia, about how we met, about whether I planned this." Lorenzo pulled her into his arms. "I'm so sorry. This is my fault. I should have anticipated this. Should have protected you better. How could you have anticipated someone would attack me like this? Who would do this?" "Richard Blackwell. A business rival. He's trying to hurt me through you." "But why? What did I ever do to him?" "Nothing. You're just a target because I love you. Because you make me happy. And he wants to see me suffer." Lorenzo's jaw clenched. "But I won't let him win. I'm going to fix this." "How?" "The articles are already out there. People have already formed opinions. Then we'll change those opinions. We'll tell our story. The truth. How we really met, how you've helped Sophia, what our relationship is actually like." Mia pulled back, wiping her eyes. "I don't know if I can do that. Being in front of cameras, having my life examined. Lorenzo, I'm a private person. This kind of attention terrifies me." "I know. And I hate that I'm asking this of you. But Mia, if we don't tell our story, someone else will tell it for us. And their version won't be the truth." Before Mia could respond, Sophia came home from camp with Mrs. Chen. The little girl took one look at Mia's tear-stained face and ran to her. "Mia, why are you crying? What's wrong?" Mia tried to smile. "I'm okay, sweetheart. Just a bad day." "Is someone being mean to you?" Sophia's voice turned fierce. "Because if they are, Papa will stop them." "Right, Papa?" "I'm working on it, sweetheart," Lorenzo promised. But that evening things got worse. Sophia's camp director called. Some of the parents had seen the articles. They were asking questions, expressing concerns about Sophia being around Mia. A few had even suggested Sophia shouldn't return to camp if Mia was still in the picture. Lorenzo was furious. "They're targeting my daughter now? Making her feel ashamed of her family? People are scared," Francesca explained over the phone. "They don't understand the situation. They're reacting to what they've read." That night, Mia couldn't sleep. She lay in bed staring at the ceiling while Lorenzo held her. "Maybe I should leave," she said quietly. "Go back to my apartment for a while. Let things calm down." "No." Lorenzo's response was immediate and firm. "Absolutely not. That's what they want. For you to run away, to prove their narrative that you were just using us. But what if they're right? Not about using you, but about me being bad for you and Sophia? What if I'm causing more harm than good?" "Mia, look at me. Lorenzo turned her face toward his. You are the best thing that's happened to us in years. Sophia is happy, healthy, thriving. I'm happy for the first time since Isabella died. Our family works because you're in it. Don't let some cruel articles make you doubt that. I don't want to hurt Sophia. If people are saying things about me at camp, if other parents are judging her because of me, then we'll find a new camp. Or I'll hire private tutors. Or we'll homeschool. Whatever it takes. But I'm not losing you. Sophia's not losing you. We're a family and families stick together through hard times. Mia wanted to believe him. But the weight of public opinion felt crushing. She'd never experienced anything like this, the scrutiny, the judgment, the cruelty of strangers who knew nothing about her but felt entitled to opinions about her life. The next day, Lorenzo held a press conference. He stood in front of cameras and reporters and told their story. He explained how they'd met, how Mia had helped Sophia heal, how their relationship had developed naturally and beautifully. Mia Johnson is not a gold digger, he stated firmly. She's a kind, compassionate woman who loved my daughter before she ever loved me. She's studying to be a teacher because she wants to help children. She works hard, lives modestly, and has never once asked me for anything. The fact that we fell in love is not a scandal. It's a blessing. And I won't stand by while people who don't know her tear her apart. Some reporters looked moved. Others seemed skeptical. The questions came fast and harsh. How do you respond to allegations that Ms. Johnson manipulated your daughter? How can you be sure her feelings are genuine? Don't you think this relationship moved too fast? Lorenzo answered every question with patience and truth. But he could see that some minds were already made up. Some people had decided Mia was a villain, and no amount of facts would change that. When he returned home, exhausted and discouraged, he found Mia packing a bag. What are you doing? Panic gripped him. I can't do this, Lorenzo. I watched your press conference. It didn't help. People still think the worst of me. And now they're coming after Sophia. Parents at her camp don't want their kids around her because of me. I can't be the reason she suffers. Mia, please. Don't make decisions based on fear. I'm making decisions based on love. I love Sophia too much to let her be hurt because of me. And I love you too much to watch your reputation be destroyed. Tears streamed down Mia's face. Maybe if I step back for a while, things will calm down. Maybe people will forget about me. And maybe they won't. Maybe stepping back will just confirm their suspicions that you were never genuine. Lorenzo grabbed her hands. Mia, I love you. Sophia loves you. That's what matters. Not what strangers think. But those strangers affect your business, your life, Sophia's life. I can't be selfish about this. Staying isn't selfish. Running away is. Please, Mia. Stay and fight with me. Show them that our love is real, that our family is strong. Don't let them win. Mia looked at him, torn between fear and love. I don't know if I'm strong enough for this. You are. You're the strongest person I know. And you don't have to be strong alone. We'll face this together. Just then, Sophia appeared in the doorway, rubbing sleep from her eyes. Why is Mia crying again? Why is she packing? Mia knelt down to Sophia's level. Sweetheart, some people are saying mean things about me. I thought maybe it would be better if I went away for a little while. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. No. You can't go. You promised you'd never leave. I know, baby. But sometimes grown-ups have to make hard choices. This is because of those newspaper people, isn't it? The ones Papa was talking to? Sophia's voice trembled with anger and fear. They're trying to take you away from us. They're just confused about who I am. Then we'll show them. Sophia grabbed Mia's hand fiercely. We'll show everyone that you're good and kind and you love us. Please don't go, Mia. Please. I need you. Those 3 words broke Mia. She pulled Sophia into a tight hug, sobbing. I need you too. Lorenzo joined the embrace, wrapping his arms around both his girls. We need each other. All of us. So we stay together. We face this together. And we come out stronger on the other side. Mia nodded against his shoulder, her decision made. She wouldn't run. She wouldn't let fear win. She'd stay and fight for her family. Because that's what you did when you loved someone. You fought for them no matter the cost. Even when the whole world seemed against you. The days following Mia's decision to stay were the hardest of her life. The media attention didn't fade. If anything, it intensified. Photographers camped outside Lorenzo's building. Reporters called her phone constantly until she had to change her number. Every time she left the penthouse, cameras flashed in her face. But Mia held her head high. She continued her classes, though whispers followed her across campus. She kept working her weekend shifts at the restaurant, though customers stared and sometimes asked intrusive questions. She refused to hide, refused to act ashamed of loving Lorenzo and Sophia. Sophia stopped going to her old camp. Lorenzo arranged for private activities instead, hiring tutors and coaches to come to the penthouse. It wasn't ideal, but it kept Sophia safe from the judgment of uninformed parents. The little girl handled everything with surprising grace. When she saw photographers, she'd wave and smile, refusing to give them the scared reactions they wanted. When she heard Mia crying in the bathroom, she'd slip in with hugs and reassurances. She was braver than any 6-year-old should have to be. 2 weeks into the media storm, Mia woke to find Lorenzo already dressed in a suit, on the phone with Francesca. His expression was grim. "What's happened?" Mia asked when he hung up. "Richard Blackwell is escalating. He's convinced 3 of my board members to call for an emergency meeting. They want to discuss whether my personal life is affecting the company's reputation." "They want to fire you? From your own company?" "They can't fire me, I own controlling interest. But they can make things difficult. Create divisions. Damage relationships with clients." Lorenzo sat heavily on the bed. "Mia, I need to tell you something. If I fight this, really fight it, things are going to get worse before they get better. The media attention will increase. The scrutiny will be intense. I can handle it, but I need to know you can too. I can handle anything as long as we're together." "You say that now. But Mia, I'm talking about months of this. Maybe longer. Can you really live like this? Looking over your shoulder constantly, having your every move judged?" Mia took his face in her hands. "Lorenzo, listen to me. I'm not some fragile thing that breaks under pressure. I grew up poor, worked 2 jobs through college, lost my parents young. I've survived hard things. I can survive this too. What I can't survive is losing you and Sophia. So whatever we need to face, we face it together." Lorenzo kissed her, grateful and relieved. "I don't deserve you." "Yes, you do. We all deserve love. Even when it's complicated." That afternoon, Lorenzo attended the board meeting. Antonio accompanied him, a show of support. The meeting was brutal. 3 board members, clearly influenced by Richard's campaign, questioned Lorenzo's judgment. They suggested his relationship with Mia showed poor decision-making that might extend to business matters. "You've rushed into this engagement," one board member, an older man named Gerald, argued. "You barely know this woman. How do we know she won't influence your business decisions? How do we know she's not already doing so?" "Because I'm a professional," Lorenzo replied coldly. "I've never mixed my personal life with business decisions. My relationship with Mia has nothing to do with how I run this company. But it affects the company's image," another board member, Nancy, pointed out. "Clients are asking questions. Some are concerned about your stability." "My stability?" Lorenzo's voice turned dangerous. "I've increased this company's value by 40% in the past 5 years. I've secured deals that seemed impossible. I've made every one of you substantially wealthier. And you're questioning my stability because I fell in love?" "We're questioning your judgment," Gerald corrected. "This woman appeared out of nowhere. You've known her for less than 6 months. You've entangled her with your daughter. What if this relationship fails? What if she was using you all along?" "She wasn't. She isn't. And this relationship won't fail." Lorenzo stood, his presence commanding the room. "Gentlemen, ladies, I understand your concerns. But they're unfounded. Mia Johnson is a woman of integrity, character, and kindness. She's improved both my life and my daughter's life immeasurably. If you can't accept that, then perhaps you need to reconsider your positions on this board." The threat was clear. Lorenzo might not be able to fire them directly, but he could make their roles increasingly unpleasant. He had that power and he wasn't afraid to use it. Antonio spoke up, his voice calm but firm. "I've known Lorenzo for 15 years. I've watched him build this company from the ground up. I've seen him navigate impossible situations with grace and wisdom. And I've seen him suffer through 3 years of grief after losing his wife. Mia Johnson brought him back to life. She brought his daughter back to life. That's not manipulation. That's love. And if any of you think love makes a person weak or unstable, then you've never truly experienced it." Several board members looked uncomfortable. Nancy spoke again, her tone softer. "We're not heartless, Lorenzo. We're happy you found someone. We're just concerned about the optics. Richard Blackwell is using your relationship to undermine confidence in the company. Stock prices have dropped 2% this week alone. Stock prices fluctuate. They'll recover. What won't recover is my relationship with this board if you continue to question my personal choices." Lorenzo gathered his papers. "I'll make you all a promise. Within 1 month, I'll prove that Mia's presence in my life has only made me stronger, sharper, more focused. The next deal I close will be the biggest this company has ever seen. And then we'll revisit this conversation." He walked out, Antonio following. In the hallway, Lorenzo leaned against the wall, exhausted. "That was intense," Antonio said. "They were testing me. Seeing if I'd back down, choose the company over Mia. And you made it clear you won't." "I can't. I won't choose between my family and my company. I refuse to accept that I have to." Lorenzo straightened. "I need to close the Meridian deal. The tech company acquisition. If I can pull that off, it'll prove I'm still at the top of my game. The Meridian deal is complicated. It'll take months. Then I'd better get started." Lorenzo threw himself into work with renewed focus. He negotiated, strategized, worked 18-hour days. But he never neglected Mia and Sofia. Every morning he had breakfast with them. Every night he was home for dinner and bedtime. He'd learned the hard way that work meant nothing without family to share it with. Mia saw the toll it was taking on him. The stressed lines around his eyes, the exhaustion in his voice. She tried to help however she could. She took over more household management, coordinated Sofia's schedule, even helped Lorenzo prepare for meetings by researching companies and compiling data. "You don't have to do this," Lorenzo told her one night as she handed him a folder of research she'd spent hours compiling. "I want to. We're a team, remember? Your success is my success." 3 weeks after the board meeting, Lorenzo closed the Meridian deal. It was worth $200 million and positioned Castellano Industries as a major player in the tech sector. Stock prices didn't just recover, they soared. The board called another meeting, this one congratulatory. Gerald was the first to apologize. "We misjudged the situation. And perhaps we misjudged Ms. Johnson. You've proven that your personal life hasn't affected your professional abilities." "My personal life enhanced my professional abilities," Lorenzo corrected. "Having a stable, loving home makes me better at my job, not worse. I hope you'll all remember that." But while Lorenzo's professional reputation recovered, the personal attacks on Mia continued. Richard Blackwell, frustrated that his business tactics had failed, shifted to more personal assaults. More articles appeared, these ones even crueler. They dug into Mia's past, found her father's arrest record from 20 years ago, suggested she came from a family of criminals. Mia tried to stay strong, but each article felt like a wound. She was trying to protect a reputation she'd worked her whole life to build, but strangers were tearing it apart with lies and half-truths. One evening she broke down completely. Lorenzo found her on the balcony, sobbing so hard she could barely breathe. He held her while she cried, his own heart breaking. "I can't do this anymore," Mia gasped. "Every day there's something new. Some fresh attack. They found out about my dad's mistakes from decades ago. They're making me sound like I come from a family of criminals. Lorenzo, they're destroying me. They're trying to. But they can't destroy the truth. They can't destroy who you really are. But they're destroying how people see me. And that's what matters. Perception. Your board members, your clients, Sofia's future teachers and friends. Everyone's going to Google my name and find horrible things." Lorenzo pulled back to look at her. "Mia, I have an idea. It's bold, maybe crazy. But I think it'll work." "What is it?" "We fight back. Not with press conferences or interviews. With actions. We show people who you really are by being transparent about your life. We create a foundation in your name, dedicated to helping children who've lost parents. We get involved in charity work. We document your education journey, show people that you're not some gold digger but a hardworking student. We flood the media with positive stories that drown out the negative ones." Mia considered this. It meant more publicity, more exposure. But it also meant taking control of the narrative. That could work. "But Lorenzo, I don't want to use charity as a PR stunt." "It won't be. It'll be genuine. You've always wanted to help children. This just gives you a bigger platform to do it." Lorenzo tucked her hair behind her ear. "We can make something good come from this attack. We can turn Richard's cruelty into opportunities to help others." Over the next week they put the plan into action. Lorenzo's PR team helped create the Sofia's Hope Foundation, named after his daughter and dedicated to helping children cope with grief. Mia became the public face of it, sharing her own story of losing her parents young. The response was overwhelming. People reached out sharing their own stories. Donations poured in. News outlets that had run negative articles now requested interviews to talk about the foundation. Mia gave interviews with grace and honesty. She talked about her father's mistakes and how she'd worked to overcome that legacy. She talked about losing her parents and finding family again with Lorenzo and Sofia. She talked about her passion for education and helping children. Slowly the narrative shifted. Instead of gold digger, articles started calling her compassionate. Instead of manipulative, they called her inspiring. The tide of public opinion was turning. But Richard Blackwell wasn't done. He made one final, desperate move. He approached Mia directly. She was leaving class one afternoon when a sleek black car pulled up. Richard stepped out, handsome and cold in an expensive suit. "Miss Johnson, we should talk." "I don't think we have anything to say to each other," Mia replied, trying to walk past him. "I have an offer for you. One that would solve both our problems." Despite herself, Mia stopped. "What offer?" "Walk away from Lorenzo. Quietly, gracefully. I'll pay you $5 million. You can finish your education, start your life, never have to work again. All you have to do is end the engagement." Mia stared at him in disbelief. "You're trying to bribe me to leave the man I love?" "I'm offering you freedom. From the media scrutiny, from the pressure of living in Lorenzo's world. From constantly being judged and found wanting. Take the money, start fresh somewhere else. You'd be doing everyone a favor." "A favor?" Mia's voice turned cold. "You mean I'd be proving your narrative right? That I was only with Lorenzo for money and when offered enough, I'd leave? Call it what you want. The offer stands. $5 million. Think about it." "I don't need to think about it. The answer is no. I'm not leaving Lorenzo. Not for $5 million, not for $50 million. I love him. I love Sofia. We're a family. And you can't buy that." Richard's expression hardened. "Then you've made a very foolish choice. I'll destroy you, Ms. Johnson. You and your precious little family. You've already tried. And you've failed. Because you can't destroy something built on real love with fake stories and cruel tactics." Mia stepped closer, her voice strong and sure. "I'm not afraid of you anymore, Mr. Blackwell. You're just a sad, bitter man trying to hurt people because you can't create anything good yourself. And I pity you for that." She walked away, leaving Richard standing by his car, defeated. That evening Mia told Lorenzo everything. His rage was immediate and fierce. "He approached you? He tried to bribe you? And I said no. I wanted you to know that I had the chance to walk away with money, and I chose you instead. I chose us." Lorenzo pulled her into his arms, holding her tight. "I never doubted you. Not for 1 second. I know. But I needed to prove it to myself too. And to anyone who might still have doubts." Mia looked up at him. "I'm done being afraid. Done letting Richard's attacks make me question my worth. I know who I am. I know what we have. And that's enough. It's more than enough. It's everything." The next day Lorenzo called a press conference. But this time Mia stood beside him. Together, they announced the official launch of Sofia's Hope Foundation. Together they answered questions about their relationship, their plans, their love. And when a reporter asked Mia directly about the gold digger allegations, she answered with strength and grace. "I've been called many things in the past few months. Gold digger. Manipulator. Opportunist. But here's the truth. I'm a woman who fell in love with a man and his daughter. I'm someone who values family, education, and kindness above money. Yes, Lorenzo is wealthy. But that's not why I love him. I love him because he's a devoted father, a compassionate man, and my best friend. I love Sofia because she's brave and smart and has the biggest heart of anyone I've ever met. Our love isn't a transaction. It's a blessing. And no amount of money could ever replace what we have." The press conference went viral. Videos of Mia's response were shared millions of times. Comments flooded in, mostly supportive. The tide had fully turned. Richard Blackwell's attacks stopped. His media connections, seeing public opinion shifting, stopped running his stories. He'd lost. And Mia, Lorenzo, and Sofia had won. Not because they'd fought back with cruelty or lies, but because they'd stayed true to themselves and their love. The storm had passed. And they'd weathered it together. 6 months after the engagement, on a perfect spring day, Mia Johnson became Mia Castellano. The wedding was beautiful, held in a botanical garden filled with flowers and sunshine. Sofia served as flower girl in her purple dress, beaming with pride as she walked down the aisle ahead of Mia. Nana Rose was there, crying happy tears in the front row. Antonio stood as Lorenzo's best man, while Patricia was Mia's matron of honor. But the most beautiful moment was when Sofia, unprompted, stepped forward during the vows and added her own. "I promise to be a good daughter," she said to Mia, her small voice clear and strong. "And to love you forever just like you love me. Thank you for being my bonus mama." There wasn't a dry eye in the garden. Lorenzo and Mia exchanged their vows next, voices thick with emotion. They spoke of love that heals, family that grows, and promises that last lifetimes. When Lorenzo kissed his bride, Sophia cheered loudest of all. The reception was joyful and full of laughter. They danced, ate amazing food, and celebrated with everyone they loved. Lorenzo danced first with Mia, then with Sophia, and then the three of them danced together, a family complete. "I have a wedding gift for you," Lorenzo told Sophia during their dance. "Both of you actually." "The dog." Sophia gasped. "You finally said yes to the dog." Lorenzo laughed. "Yes, the dog. We pick him up next week. He's a golden retriever puppy, 8 weeks old, and he needs a good family." Sophia hugged him so tight she nearly knocked him over. "This is the best day ever. I got a bonus mama and a puppy." "What did I get?" Mia teased. Lorenzo pulled her close. "You got us a sometimes messy, always loving, slightly chaotic family. Is that okay?" "It's perfect." And it was. The months that followed were filled with beautiful, ordinary moments. Mia graduated from college with honors, Sophia in the audience cheering. She got a job teaching kindergarten at a progressive school that valued her warmth and creativity. Sophia started first grade and thrived, making friends and bringing home artwork every day. The puppy, whom Sophia named Sunny because he was bright and happy like sunshine, became the fourth member of their family. He was goofy and clumsy and loved unconditionally, which made him fit right in. The Sophia's Hope Foundation grew beyond their wildest dreams. They helped hundreds of children cope with loss, providing therapy, support groups, and resources. Mia threw herself into the work, finding purpose and healing in helping others heal. Lorenzo's business continued to flourish. But now, instead of working 18-hour days, he made time for family. He coached Sophia's soccer team. He had weekly date nights with Mia. He learned that success meant nothing without people to share it with. On Sophia's 7th birthday, they returned to the restaurant where it all started. Bellissimo had become a family tradition, the place they went for every special occasion. Their old server, the woman who'd been working that first night, greeted them with a warm smile. "The Castellano family. Your usual table?" "Actually," Sophia said seriously, "we're the Castellano-Johnson family now." Because Mia kept her name too. "That's allowed." "It absolutely is," the server agreed. "Right this way, Castellano-Johnson family." After dinner, Sophia asked the question she'd been working up courage to ask all day. "Can we talk about Mama Isabella?" Lorenzo and Mia exchanged glances. They'd been open about Isabella, keeping her memory alive through stories and photos. But Sophia rarely initiated these conversations. "Of course, sweetheart," Lorenzo said. "What do you want to talk about?" "I want to tell Mia about her. All my memories. Because I don't want to forget, and I think talking helps me remember." Sophia looked at Mia. "Is that okay?" "It's more than okay. I'd love to hear about her." So Sophia talked. About her mama's laugh and her cooking and the songs she sang. About trips to the park and bedtime stories and the way she smelled like flowers. About the silly voices she made and the games they played and how she always knew exactly what to say when Sophia was sad. Lorenzo added his own memories. About falling in love with Isabella, about their wedding, about the day Sophia was born. About the strength Isabella showed when she got sick and the grace with which she faced death. "She sounds wonderful," Mia said, tears in her eyes. "I wish I could have met her." "She would have liked you," Lorenzo said. "She would have been grateful that Sophia has you to love her now." "I love you both," Sophia said. "Mama Isabella in my memories and Mia in my real life. Different kinds of love but both real. Is that okay?" "That's more than okay," Mia said. "That's beautiful. Love multiplies, sweetheart. It doesn't divide. You can love us both." Sophia smiled, that bright, pure smile that made everything worthwhile. "Good. Because I do." As they left the restaurant that night, walking to their car under the stars, Sophia held both her parents' hands and swung between them. "Know what, Papa?" she said. "Remember when I picked Mia instead of dessert?" "I remember. That was the best choice I ever made. Better than any cake could ever be." Lorenzo and Mia laughed, and it was the sound of healing, of hope, of a family built from broken pieces that had somehow become stronger than if they'd never been broken at all. 1 year later they expanded their family again. Not with a baby, though they talked about that possibility for the future, but with a teenage foster daughter named Priya. She'd aged out of traditional foster care and needed a place to stay while finishing high school. Sophia had begged them to help her friend, and they'd said yes without hesitation. Priya was guarded at first, uncertain about joining a family so full of love. But slowly she opened up. Mia helped her with college applications. Lorenzo taught her about business and finances. Sophia included her in everything, proud to have a big sister. On the 2-year anniversary of Lorenzo and Mia's wedding, the whole family gathered at the botanical garden where they'd gotten married. Lorenzo, Mia, Sophia, Priya, Sunny the dog, Nana Rose, and Antonio's family. They had a picnic and played games and celebrated how far they'd all come. Speech. Antonio called out. The happy couple should say something. Lorenzo stood, pulling Mia up with him. 2 years ago I thought my life was over. I was going through motions, existing but not living. Then a little girl refused to leave a restaurant without a kind waitress. And everything changed. I was drowning in debt and loneliness, Mia added. Working myself to exhaustion just to survive. Then a desperate father made me an offer I almost refused. And I found a family I didn't know I needed. We've been through a lot, Lorenzo continued. Media storms and business battles and people who didn't understand our love. But we made it through because we had each other. And because we never gave up, Mia said. Even when it was hard. Even when it hurt. We chose love. Every single day we chose love. Sophia jumped up to join them. And that's the secret. Love wins. It always does. Priya smiled from her spot on the blanket, still learning to believe in that truth but getting closer every day. As the sun set, painting the sky in shades of orange and pink, Lorenzo held his wife and daughters close. His family. His home. His heart. Thank you, he whispered to Mia. For what? For taking a chance on a broken man and his grieving daughter. For believing we were worth fighting for. You didn't need fixing, Mia said. Just love. We all did. And we found it in each other. They kissed as the sun disappeared below the horizon, and Sophia fake gagged while Priya laughed, and Sunny barked happily, and it was perfect. Messy and real and absolutely perfect. Because that's what love was. Not a fairy tale where everything was always easy. But a choice made every day to stay, to fight, to believe in each other even when the world doubted. Lorenzo Castellano had taken his daughter to dinner looking for dessert. Instead, Sophia had chosen something sweeter than any cake could ever be. She'd chosen family. She'd chosen hope. She'd chosen love. And love had chosen them right back. Sophia stood in front of her mirror, adjusting her cap and gown. At 12 years old, she was graduating from elementary school, moving on to middle school in the fall. You ready, kiddo? Priya asked from the doorway. She was 19 now, home from college for the summer, studying to be a social worker. Almost. Is Mia crying yet? She started this morning. Dad's pretending he's not, but he is too. Sophia laughed. They're so emotional. They're proud. We all are. In the kitchen, Mia wiped her eyes while Lorenzo handed her another tissue. Their younger daughter, Elena, 2 years old and completely fearless, climbed on her father's lap. Sophie, wear funny hat, Elena observed. It's called a graduation cap, Lorenzo explained. You'll wear one someday too. Can I please be excused from this emotional breakfast? Sophia teased, entering the kitchen. I have an important graduation to attend. They all laughed, piling into 2 cars to head to the ceremony. The school auditorium was packed with proud families. Sophia sat with her classmates while her family found seats near the front. When Sophia's name was called for academic excellence, Mia and Lorenzo stood up clapping. When she received the humanitarian award for her volunteer work with Sophia's Hope Foundation, they cried. When she crossed the stage to receive her diploma, they cheered loudest of all. At the reception afterward, Sophia's teacher approached Lorenzo and Mia. Your daughter is remarkable. I've taught for 20 years and I've never met a child with more empathy and emotional intelligence. Whatever you're doing, keep doing it. We're just loving her, Mia said. The rest is all Sophia. That evening, Sophia's Hope Foundation threw a small party in her honor. Over the past 5 years, the foundation had helped over 5,000 children cope with loss. They'd opened 3 grief centers and trained hundreds of counselors. And Sophia had been involved in every step, volunteering, sharing her story, helping other kids know they weren't alone. I want to say something, Sophia announced when everyone had gathered. 5 years ago I was lost. I missed my first mama so much it hurt to breathe. I couldn't smile. Couldn't feel happy. I was stuck in sadness. She looked at Mia and Lorenzo. Then Papa took me to a restaurant, and I saw a waitress with kind eyes. And something inside me woke up. I knew, even at 6 years old, that she was important. That she could help me heal. I grabbed her hand that night. I wouldn't let her leave. And Papa, because he loves me, he found a way to bring her back. And slowly, so slowly, I learned to be happy again. I learned that loving Mia didn't mean forgetting Mama Isabella. I learned that hearts have room for so much love. This foundation has my first mama's name, Sophia. That's because she's part of my story. She always will be. But it exists because of my bonus mama, Mia. Because she showed me that healing is possible. That families can be remade. That love doesn't die, it just transforms. Sophia walked to Mia and hugged her. Thank you for saving me. For loving me. For being exactly who I needed when I needed it most. Mia hugged her back, crying too hard to speak. Lorenzo joined the embrace, and then Priya and Elena did too, until they were one big, messy, beautiful family hug in the middle of a room full of people who'd all been touched by their story. Because in the end, that's what love did. It touched people. It healed them. It saved them. Sophia had chosen love that night in the restaurant 5 years ago. And love had given her everything in return. A family. A future. A life full of hope and joy and possibility. And that was the greatest gift of all.